Wait, isn't everybody at war over atheism?
Atheism? No. We've learned to get rid of all the isms in our time. Yes, long ago we realized isms are great for those who are rational, but in the hands of irrational people, isms always lead to violence.
Yep, we're back. The recording is working this time. This is episode 34 of Tim's Stupid Podcast, aka Tim's time to just spew nothing at himself, aka Tim's 2 cents. Thank you for listening. I'm trying to keep this a little bit more consistent now. Like I talked kind of too much last week about not doing it consistently. It seems like all I really have to do now is continue to do it. Same thing with everything else I'm doing. I guess that's what life is, maybe? I don't know. I feel like that's a quote I've heard from somebody. It's just continuing to do the same stuff, even whenever it doesn't feel like it's empowering or motivational or exciting. You just have to keep on doing it. I don't know if that's supposed to be depressing or motivating, but what it is, like, that is the success, I guess, is consistently doing what you know that you need to do instead of just going, I want to be comfortable, I want to do something else. That could be positive. That could mean that's as hard as it gets. It's just consistently, you look at a position, you look at a problem you're having, and you go, well, to fix this, what do I need to do? A lot of problems do have pretty simple solutions, and they're normally pretty easy to see as long as you're being honest with yourself, as long as you're not kind of fucking up your worldview with a bunch of different stuff. One of those being kind of just blaming everybody else for your own problems. That I've done that plenty. I mean, I still do that, but that's besides something like drugs or just being apathetic. That's like one of the, actually, I mean, blaming other people for your own problems is, I would say, a form, or can be a form, or a catalyst for apathy. Like, you can go, oh, I could fix this, but everybody else will just mess it up and I won't be able to do anything, and then these people fuck it up, and then through that you can kind of go, oh, so I might as well not even try because I won't succeed anyway because all these people ruin it. Now, that might be true. I'm sure that has happened in the past. I'm sure people in the past have been stuck in situations where they couldn't do something because it would just be ruined by the people around them or the people they were trying to convey something to. But you can't really go through your life like that. If you do want to accomplish something, you either have to say, fuck it, I'm going to try anyway, or say, I'm going to try something different. I'm not going to do whatever it is I was planning to. I get that that's a problem if you think you have a passion for something, but I don't know if I've made this point on here before, but I think having a passion for something is less about that kind of spark inside of you and more just the time that you put into something. Like, are you more passionate about like a kind of passing fancy, or are you more passionate about something you've spent hours and days worth of time and months worth of time into doing, and then sometimes it gets bad, but then whenever it is good, it's really good? I mean, I'm sure I've heard somebody make that kind of an argument with relationships, that the little fling, even though it might feel exciting and crazy, but it's the sustained relationships you can have that are the most fulfilling, or something like that. Who knows? But if you, I think that's a good, thinking something that way is definitely a good way at helping yourself be forward thinking, help yourself make good decisions in the present that would hopefully pan out and bring to fruition good things in the future. You can't just base your life around, right now, what's the most exciting thing I can do? For me, the most exciting thing I can do any moment is not to sit down and try to write, especially whenever it's not a exciting part of whatever I'm doing. It kind of feels like a drag through things. It does very much feel like work. I avoid it just like I did I mean, I work for myself mostly right now, but I avoid writing certain parts like I did whenever I worked like waiting tables. I avoid writing something like that. Like I avoid having to do like side work where you clean stuff and you wipe everything down. But you kind of have to do it. You have to keep on putting the work in, or else nothing will get done. Nothing will happen if you don't lay that kind of framework. Nobody's going to just go, yep, here's your book deal. Here's your art deal. Let me put all of your things on display and let me be your advocate in front of it. I mean, there's a thing for that. That's called having an agent, but you have to make the money or have somebody. I mean, it works out too. Take your inheritance if you want to achieve something. Take your inheritance. Don't practice at all and just get an agent right from the beginning. And then, I don't know, that might not be a terrible idea. Just learn how to do whatever you want to do from the agent and be like, well, let me just base my entire life off of what is going to sell. I don't see that as being a negative thing at all. I'm not one of these people, there has to be purity in art, because there is none. As soon as you start selling something, it becomes partially, at least, a business. It does take away from whatever the expression is meant to be as soon as you start making it something that needs to be digested and taken in by other people, because you have to take away some of that expression just for the sake of it not being straight stream of consciousness, where your expressions mean so much to one particular group of people, or maybe even just to yourself, but you need to somehow broaden that. You need to make that something that, I guess that's the fine line between what is good art and what is just pandering, is finding what can be the most, what is the most, what is the word I'm looking for? What is the most thing that we all share? Like getting everybody to have the same idea, sharing a moment or something that's, fuck, what is it? I mean, I know, I don't even know if I'm explaining this well, but finding something that's shareable with other people versus, and doing that in a good way, doing that in a way that can help connect people and show them that you might think the same way as them, or show them they're not just the same people thinking this way, and that they can also kind of get something out of this. It's a shared experience by all of it. It's a shared feeling of, not a feeling of emotion, but you get what I mean. That's on like the one side, and then on the very other side, very, very close to that, is just basing everything you do off of what is going to get the best reaction out of people. And instead of having a compelling story or a compelling character, you kind of just base it off of everyone going, oh, that's nice. That really feels good whenever I like to think of the world in my own personal little way. And this affirms all of that. So I really enjoy this, because, I mean, that seems to be what's selling right now. Whether that's music, movies, whatever it is, there's not really too much honesty. There's a lot of, well, let's make up this, we'll have this story, but set in a past time or a future, but then it's very relatable. That's what I was looking for. It's very relatable to people now, because it involves gossiping or maybe people stabbing each other in the back, because we all have haters now. We all have people who try to drag us down, and we just have to overcome that. And that's what this story in the Old West or in the future on a spaceship is all about, is just overcoming haters. And that would be, I'd kind of push that side of bullshit, versus something where, yeah, I don't even know what I'm looking for. I think that's like half the reason why I do like writing myself, or like trying to create something myself, is because I don't always even know what I want to read or watch. Like I've mentioned before, just kind of switching through Netflix to find something, but I'll do that on a Kindle too. I have like hundreds of books on my Kindle, and amongst those hundreds of books, there's dozens of anthologies with different authors and different short stories, and I'll still just kind of sit there and be like, I could finish this, or I could read this, or I could do this, and I spend half the time reading like a couple pages and go, well, Brothers Karamazov still isn't interesting. Let me go switch to something newer, and oh, this is stupid. But we need to find a kind of honest relatability, and a relatability that isn't built completely on little emotional tricks and little attempts to go, hey, I'm just like you. There was that, I don't even know what show it's from, but it's that Steve Buscemi got, that's not even a good relatable, but like drawing in the viewership by just plucking at a few shared emotional heartstrings isn't really that honest. I mean, it's not like they're lying. They're not starting off the movie with, or they're not starting off the book with, well, this is going to be the end all be all. This is completely truthful. Like, it is fiction. So that's the, how seriously we take our fiction now does fall more on us as consumers than the people who are producing it. It's not that the people who, like, I mean, I'm sure if people wanted more, then the people producing the art would make it more in depth, would make it more interesting, would make it maybe more realistic, whatever it would be. But we don't really want that. We want Game of Thrones with just, I mean, again, I still don't think I've seen an episode of Game of Thrones, but from what I gather from any time somebody tells me how good it is, it's just gratuitous violence and sex, and then a couple people talking in weird accents, and then there's the people who live in the winter, and they're pale, and that means they're bad. that means they should have died because they live in the cold. So then they're this great force. That's as far back as I am from the show. I have no idea what's going on. I know there's a guy named Jon Snow. But that, what was the other show? Westworld. That's again all it is. Lots of violence, nudity, and again, it's like maybe they're good stories. I've at least seen parts of Westworld, but they're not like, I don't look at that and then look at another TV show where people are like, this is stupid. And I'm not like, yep, there's this huge, vast difference between the cinematography and the storytelling. It seems like it's more just whoever got a little bit more buzz on Twitter, whoever got a little bit more buzz on Reddit. So I guess we'll do advice like real early in this episode. If you want to succeed doing something, do not go with your first instincts as far as, I want to make this a true piece of art. Definitely go with just trying to create a social buzz. If you're a movie, especially if you're somebody related with movies or media, do not do the new creative thing, because it won't be respected for being new and creative, and two, you don't have to be new and creative. You just have to be popular, and then they'll call you new and creative. There's nothing new and creative anymore anyway. I mean, literally, it's not every single idea has been done, but so many things have been done that you can make a correlation. It just depends on how people decide to think about whatever you're doing. If they like it, they'll go, oh, it's new, creative, it's amazing, it's groundbreaking. If they don't like it, they're like, yeah, this is just like this, just done in a bad way. And it could be the exact same thing. I mean, I've read articles where people do that spaced out across a couple of years. They're at first, oh, this show is just great and amazing. Then you read another article about it from the same website, same author, and there's like, well, now it's dumb and it's bad. Well, so advice right off the bat, do not depend on you thinking that your idea is creative, new. More focus on just kind of doing what everybody else is doing. Just do that and get better at doing media. Do that and buy a whole bunch of Twitter bots and just have them all retweet and like your stuff, and you'll do well. That is advice if you want to make the most money, I guess, as an artist. I can't give any advice on being a good artist besides that, because I've yet to find any achievement in what I'm doing. I guess just take what I said earlier in the show about just continuing to do stuff. I mean, besides that, nothing new or different has happened to me. My city this past week, as far as news stuff, hasn't been very positive. I mean, it never really is anymore, because it's a lot easier to sell papers don't even matter. It's a lot easier to get clicks and be able to sell ads whenever you're talking about people dying versus, I don't know, record heat waves or something like that. But although those sometimes go together. But this past week, there's been a lot of people being angry at other people. I can't say anything about this because I'm thinking about I've yet to have be an actual victim of some kind of hatred directed towards me. I've just asked that people stop going, oh, I'm angry about something. Let me blame these people who absolutely cannot have anything to do with it. Like even the guy who went after the Republicans at the baseball game, and I think I was going through Reddit a little bit ago. I guess there were gunshots at some Republican not convention but gathering. Even those guys, what are you going to do? Shoot a congressman that's actually going to do something? They don't have any say in any. The worst things that congressmen themselves contribute to the whole thing is a little bit more maybe bribery, a little bit more corruption. Like there's no. You kill a congressman, and then all our problems are solved. I mean, even less so what happened in Pittsburgh, I guess 2 days now on Saturday. Some guy went into a synagogue and shot 11 Jewish people. And he was like, I just wanted to kill Jews. I would assume it wasn't just him going, Jews need to die. I would assume that he was like, I need to save the world by killing Jews. If it's the latter or the form of Jesus, I don't even know how to talk about these things. If it's the first thing, if he was just like, I just need to kill people, then I don't know. You can't really talk to somebody like that. You kind of just have to kill him. I mean, in either one of these situations, you kind of just have to kill this guy. But if it's the latter, if he's like, the Jews are ruining the world, he's like one of the people from Charlottesville, these people in the middle of Pittsburgh are not it there. Like, they're not the ones if you have this idea in your head that the Jews are controlling the world and that they're causing Western civilization to collapse, what are these old people in the middle of Pittsburgh doing? Like, these people are not the ones making money off of if you think there's people making money off of civilization falling apart, it's not the fuckers in Squirrel Hill. They live in Pittsburgh. No one who has ever been a mover and shaker in the world has chosen to live and stay in Pittsburgh. They always move. So I don't get why you're killing people in Pittsburgh. I don't really get how that has anything to do with world politics on a grand stage. Pittsburgh in America is this city where they go, this is amazing, and they go, yeah, but fuck them because it's Pittsburgh. And I completely understand that. It's in the middle of Pennsylvania. It's surrounded by nothing but dumb little trees that don't even look nice, and it's nowhere near a beach. The closest beach is a lake that is covered in pond scum. It's at a place called Raccoon State Park, which shows you the kind of creativity that we have going here in Pennsylvania. But yeah, if you have an issue, if you have a problem with something in the world, the answer is not to kill random people around you. If you're capable as a single person who regularly posts online about your hatred for people, if you're able to get close enough to the people to kill them, they're not important enough for it to matter if you kill them. You're not doing the world a favor by killing people that have their lives are of so little consequence that you're actually able to go do it. The people that it would matter if you killed are so protected and have so many layers of security around them that it's going to be a little bit harder than just walking into a synagogue with an AR-15 and just shooting people. It's not going to do that much. So, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Just in general, whenever you're just kind of murdering random people, unless you're doing it as a very specific act of terrorism where you're going, I'm going to kill all these people so that somehow gets into the kind of collective consciousness that this is a possibility and that it should make you afraid and you break down morale, that at least kind of makes sense. But if it's this, I'm going to kill people to save other people somehow, you just don't do that. it's been done millions of times in history. It's literally what we do best as far as humans, as we kill the people who it doesn't matter. We always end up killing the people who aren't the problem. In wars, the two warring nations, the generals and the leadership go, yeah, let's kill all of our people, but not their leader. We'll kill all of your people and all of our people. We won't kill each other. At least we won't try to until maybe the end. And then most of us will just kill ourselves and get off easy. But throughout history, we have a very good track record of just murdering the people who have nothing to do with our problems. So don't do that. If you're thinking about doing it, don't rethink it, and then probably rethink it again. And if that still doesn't work, then just tell yourself it's not going to matter. Remember that part where you were like, I can't do anything because these people just put me down. Well, at the same time, you won't be able to achieve this because they'll just use it to put you down. Don't do that. Violence, as far as just random acts of violence, don't really help anything. Like if you, I just don't really get this. I don't understand people's reactions to it either, of like, this is, I mean, because it is the same thing. It's the same thing as what we've been doing since, I guess, since we've been recording history, where you get angry and then it kind of builds, and then eventually you go, I don't really have any better options, so I might as well kill a few people. Again, I can kind of barely understand that if it has something to do with you wanting to make like people remember you, which the media does very well. Everybody likes to put the pictures up and then talk about it for a couple weeks because it gets other people to watch them. But if it's to actually make a difference, like it can't really be anything but a selfish act, because it's never going to achieve something for other people. It can really only be about kind of immortalizing your name, immortalizing your face on a picture above murdered however many people. So don't do, like, if you're going to sacrifice yourself, if that's your idea, then you really have to make sure it's not just some bullshit, self-centered, whatever you're doing. And I'm not saying as far as sacrifice yourself, it's killing people. I don't really see that as ever being a good option. But whether it's you're going to say something or do something that might get you ostracized from a group, you have to look at it and make sure you're not just trying to, I just want to be a martyr and then this is easier than actually doing something with my life. Because that's what this is. It's just getting rid of your responsibility, and it kind of wipes clean the fact that you probably never, like, people don't kill people if they have something going on. Now, famous people murder people all the time, but they don't do these little attention-grabbing things. There aren't famous people that go, you know what, I'm tired of being paid attention to, so I'm going to kill some people. It is always people who are either lacking it and know that, or kind of are just are completely numbed to the fact that their life is pointless, and the best way they can continue to be numb to that is by making their life something of note by committing an atrocity. Excuse me. So don't do that. If you really need attention that badly, again, make stuff. Again, if you're going to go to the edge of reason of murdering people, then you should have no problem doing the most trash mainstream art that you can possibly think up between you and that between you and your agent, and just kind of putting that out. Don't kill people, make shitty art. I guess that's the point of this episode, is if you're going to go to the lengths that it takes to commit that kind of an act of violence and that kind of an act of anger and hatred, just direct it at the people who will pay you for it, because that is what some of us want. We want somebody to just kind of throw shit at us and then we'll just pay them. So, channel that anger, channel that frustration, channel that feeling of pointlessness in your life, and just make something pointless. If that's the problem, if that's the issue inside of you where you feel like you haven't achieved something, then just make something pointless. It doesn't matter. You can put it out and then your name can be attached to it and it means nothing in a couple years. People forget about it unless they like it. Then you'll benefit. But the negative of putting out a pointless piece of art from a position of anonymity, there are so few negatives to that if you really want your name out there, just do that. Because the shooting name will get forgotten too in a couple of years. It'll last a little bit longer. But if you just make shitty art, then you don't go to prison. You can still go out and eat whatever food you want. You don't have to sit for basically forever as the media talks about you. And I mean, it's not the same thing unless you make something so amazingly good that it goes the top seller, or something so amazingly bad that it gets picked up by somebody and they just trash it. But either way, that's the same attention. I don't know if this is a good episode. This is probably terrible. It's probably just a case in point of what I'm talking about, where I don't really care to do this. I'm just doing this. And I don't get the need for attention being that strong in somebody who then can't just get a few people around them and tell like a joke or something. Tell like a shitty joke. Go to your gym and just scream in the middle of it as you do exercises and just annoy people, make them uncomfortable, make moaning noises as you deadlift. That's also a viable option. But just don't stop killing each other. It doesn't help anybody. There's no benefit to us all hating each other. If we're at the same status, and that is like, I didn't like the Occupy Wall Street stuff, but the whole 1% versus the 99%, it's at least an idea I can get behind, where there is a very large group of us kind of all in the same similar situation. There's different classes, but we're all kind of just getting shit on. We all just have our money taken from us at the end of the year, and we go, yes, sir, please don't do whatever to me, sir. But you're not going to get at those people you're not going to get at the people on top of you by murdering the people around you. I don't know. I don't know who I'm even telling this. I would imagine most of the people who, if you've gotten to this show, you've gotten to me through the You Mean BTC podcast. Imagine most of you aren't, or I'll give you the benefit of the doubt that most of you aren't mass shooters, just waiting to happen. But just please don't, if you have people around you, tell them you care about them. Tell them you want to see their stupid art. If Hitler had somebody just go, yeah, that's not too bad, those people at the school are shit, maybe we could have avoided some issues. But then somebody else would have just whipped the entire country who was all pissed off into something. So even if Hitler had gotten some compliments, nothing would have gone well. But if you can do a little part, be a little bit nice to people, let's not be so quick to hate each other. Let's not be so quick to hate the other people that we're told to hate by the people above us. Always be kind of suspicious, at least, whenever you have a politician telling you, either side, whether it's Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, Socialist. If you have a politician telling you that you should be angry at these people, you can blame your problems on these people, or if they don't even give a specific thing like that and they just go, it's not your fault, stay away from that person, stay away from whatever they're saying. And even if it has a nugget of truth to it, even if you think it has a nugget of truth to it, it doesn't matter, because hearing that kind of shit will not help you do anything. Hearing that it is not your fault for failing at something is not going to make you want to try again, because it'll just make you, yep, no, that's why I failed, is because it's their fault, not my fault. Because we all, as people, all we need is to succeed at something. And I don't know what it is about us, but it seems like we count being barred from success the same as succeeding. We count as being like banned from something as the same as succeeding at it, because it's like we can't fail now. It's impossible to fail now because they don't even let us try. I don't know. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope everyone's staying safe. Please, again, just be okay with each other. Don't be complete dicks. Don't shoot people. But just let's quit with the kind of infighting between everybody. If we can all kind of figure out that we're basically able to live together, we don't run each other over in the street, then we don't need to do this shit where we're shooting each other over dumb little ideologies that we picked up off the internet or we read in a book someplace. Let's just live our lives to the best that we can to... I don't know what. That's the problem, is you need to find something to live your life for, but it can't be just to hate people, because then that fizzles out very quickly and that goes nowhere. And once the hate is gone, what do you have? But anyway, have a good week. Love you guys. Bye.